Good afternoon, Bruin fans, and welcome to another edition here of Something Bruin with Coach Cook here in our third season and episode 7, and also this week, homecoming week. Coach Cook, how you doing this week?
I'm doing great. We had a good bounce back Monday from Friday's contest, and we've had a locked in practice, another good week of preparation going into Friday night's homecoming matchup against Deep Creek. How are you doing, Mark?
Hey, I'm doing great, and let me just say, I I know that I've sent you and Charles a text. I know it's got something to do with being an alum, but there is no other football program that I would want to be a part of and ready to watch this team, continue to grow this season. And I think last week they played tough 48 minutes, but sometimes the ball doesn't bounce our way. I'm ready to watch these kids bounce back.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you. We love you. We've said this, the previous seasons that you've been a huge part of us allowing to share this journey and this story with this group of Bruins. And it's been fun. It's been challenging, and to see these guys just move on, move forward, and respond to the film corrections and all things considered, it's been great to watch. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? The thing about last week was kind of like our senior night the year before. Disappointing game, but hey, there's going to be bigger games as we get the postseason. Last week, disappointing loss, but hey, we have homecoming week, and then we continue on with the rest of our second half of the regular season schedule.
Absolutely. That's football for you.
Right.
We got to understand that even the teams we cheer for on Sundays let us down. Regardless. And it's the nature of the game. The ball bounces every direction, literally and figuratively. And we just got to learn how to move on. And our kids have done a phenomenal job. It was a running joke about 2 episodes ago where it's the reason why there's sports talk radio shows, right? Get fans back to kickoff, right? Whether they're happy or disappointed, that's their time to be able to express themselves. But us as a staff and our young men, our coaching staff, we've all moved on. We understood that was a winnable game. Hats off to Nansman River for doing, all the little things right to allow them to get out with it. But in all losses, there are lessons. And there were not too many. It was about 12 that we allowed to get away, but we also learned from. So, right now our focus is turned to Deep Creek. And we're excited about this homecoming.
Yeah, and Coach Twine, you and I know about the tradition of Western Branch and Deep Creek, but I know looking at Deep Creek's schedule, they've played Indian River, they played Nansen River, and then their 2 wins, Grassfield, Hickory. So I know that Coach Twine is going to bring a Deep Creek team ready to play, but I'm. Is there word about possibly bringing in extra stands here with it being homecoming?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything yet. I think the best is yet to come that conversation pops up. But we are expecting a big crowd. We're excited to see all the classes that end in 3 possibly come up and support these young Bruins and reconnect and fellowship. I think Western Branch homecoming has always been a unique homecoming. I guess I'm biased because I'm an alumni,
Right.
but it's like a family of just a family within a family. So it's going to be exciting to see the stands get filled and excitement back in the air. Coach Swan always does a great job, getting those guys prepared, especially against us. So we understand the importance of this rivalry game with so many Bruins on our coaching staff. It's been brought up a couple of times that how deep this rivalry is against Deep Creek. And like I said last week, it's kind of neat. The record was thrown out, right?
Right.
All the stats were thrown out, and it was a backyard brawl, for whoever could survive. And during halftime, I told our kids that we had to play 24 hard minutes, right? And it took it all the way down to the 30-second mark. before the game is, pretty much decided against Ansman River. But that's going to be my echo to this group this week. 48, sorry, hard fought minutes. Regardless of the score, compete and learn to compete. I'm going to also reiterate, in high school football, it's the last 4 minutes.
Yes.
Even in pro sports, it's the last 4 minutes of the game where you win or lose. And sometimes it's the small details that decides that outcome. So I want our kids to understand 4 minutes left in the game. This is where we're smiling and licking our chops, because this is about pride and execution, and wanting these moments, versus not wanting these big moments to close a game out, regardless of what phase of the game is up to compete. So we're excited. We kept our kids kind of grounded this week, although it's a lot of festivities going on in the school and school community. We found our kids have responded very well this week. And I think this is one of the best homecoming preparation weeks we've had since I've been the leader of this program. So I'm very proud of our staff and our young men and our support staff for understanding, how big this moment is, but at the same time, how important this moment is. Once the parades are over, once all the things considered, tailgating is over, they're filling the stands to see West Branch Bruin football. They want to see us win. They want to see us compete at a high level. And that's been our driving message.
Well, and something that you've shared here, I don't know about the previous 2 seasons, but I know with this season, previous episodes, here is even with high school football and with the community. I mean, Friday night, the kids are there to entertain the fans.
Yes, absolutely.
And just a bigger subject here with it being homecoming, and and like we've talked about before, how our school still has a neighborhood parade, starting at 5, but definitely Bruin football, it's entertainment here for Friday night.
Right, and it feels good, right? It feels good that it's something to cheer for. Our record is our record because of our schedule. It's a good schedule, right? We could be undefeated right now and get bounced in the first round because we haven't really been challenged, right? And we see that a lot where teams are undefeated and all of a sudden they get their first loss late in the season, where we're learning as we go, and we're learning not necessarily our kids, we're watching our kids actually grow up in front of our eyes. Right. And each week we see an add-on or a build to their potential, whether it's individually or collectively as a group. And, to me, that's that. You can never be, I guess, excited anymore than seeing that growth process, that maturation process. I told Eric, I said, Eric, you did a phenomenal job, Coach Black, in the game plan and our defense. Even though small details showed up, those guys gave us every opportunity. They gave the offense the opportunity. Our special teams gave our offense the opportunity. We just got to continue to, again, get to that moment where we're smiling and we're ready for this big moment. We're ready for this opportunity, whether it's closing the game out or tying the game up, and making a hard decision. Do we go for overtime or do we go for the win? So, and we're getting there. We're really getting there. Our offense is definitely balanced this year. We're almost at 1,000 yards at the midway point from a total offensive standpoint. And, that's something to be excited about, if that makes sense, especially with a very young group.
Right. And, and the thing is, one part of the game, I think it was there in the second half, where we were deep in our territory and we punted a line drive, but Nancy River tried to pick it up. We forced a fumble, so it ended up being a 50-yard, plus play for us. Yeah, even there on special teams, when the ball bounces, you don't want to, of course, give the returner some room, to catch, so you don't get a flag. But hey, if they want to pick it up, go hit and force the turnover, and we've had some success here on pump plays here early on.
Absolutely. Not discounting the other 10 guys on punt team, but Christian Copeland is like our guy. He's a guru when it comes to this, and this is a 4-year process of him being in that position and in that gunner role to be able to get down there and make a play. The next would be our long snapper. Jacob Logan, phenomenal. You can't get the ball off if it can't get back to Cook, right? Or to David Shiner, who came in cold and had a good punt, his back to the end zone. Right. So, special teams for us is important. Right now, they're out there after their flex period getting ready to go through 25 minutes of all phases, and corrections and adjustments, but really understanding that we got to be able to teach for Friday night's performance, right? And I've said this before, we can't really get on kids for something we never taught during the week. We tell our kids our Friday night games are our assessments, and sometimes it goes back to practice. It goes back to a Monday practice or Tuesday or a Wednesday or a ghost game walkthrough as a result of something that showed up. So, that's been our focus. It's nothing that we have to reinvest in. It's just something that we have to continue to do so our kids can compete fast and at a high level. But Christian Copeland has been phenomenal at that gunner spot. I think another one, Jamari Parker, watching him fly around on special teams as well. Again, these kids love winning. They want to see success, and those are the difference makers when you got guys on the field that are willing to do versus I have to, anything of that nature. So absolutely.
Yeah. And, and then also here with it being homecoming, I know that we talked a little bit about your class last week, but, the 93 class, with 30 years and they're one of the classes that are being highlighted this weekend, looking at Coach J's book. I mean, TJ Giles under center, and he was the quarterback, and looking at our program's record through VHSL reference, I mean, those seniors in 93, I mean, in the 93 class, I mean, they were definitely laying the foundation as 91 and 92 back-to-back 7-3 seasons, and the Bruins hadn't won 7 games in a regular season in a good while. So definitely those 93 class seniors were definitely laying the foundation for what the rest of the 90s and into 2000 football was.
That was a 10-year plus stretch, right? We understand Coach J's success carried into, I believe, 2007. Right. But that 10-year stretch, it was only one team we had to get over in most cases, right? And we finally got that done, taking nothing away from 93 class. Right. But we finally, slayed the dragon, like some say, in 97. And I think that's why Coach J really loves that 97 class, because of the weight that was lifted off of his shoulder. And again, that's not taking away no year whatsoever. All those guys have done everything considered in regards to being a Bruin and getting us to that point, getting the young guys to that point. But yes, TJ Giles, I remember, I believe I was a rising freshman, just watching how he operate, and boy, did he have some zip on that ball. I think he jammed my thumb one day. My older brothers were at practice, and I kind of moseyed over there after we were done, and he threw it, and my left thumb, I think it's still jacked up. But, I mean, phenomenal guy. I believe we got 2 Bruins on our roster, Eric Santamaro and Charles Thomas, part of that 93 class. And just, it's so unique, the depth of coaches that are Bruins on this coaching staff, and the memories that they have, but also the camaraderie that we're able to provide to our kids. But yeah, that 93 class, I believe it's so many names. I believe Antoine Hosky was a 93 grad. Marco Hernandez, I believe, and I may be wrong, so forgive me, stat guys, but I just remember seeing those type of young men competing as I was a young guy, waiting my turn a year later to be a part of this process. But yes, absolutely. Some other notable names. Who do you got, Mark? I don't want to put you on the spot.
Well, I got for split end Jamal Ramaj,
There you go.
who was. I mean, I remember seeing him on the baseball field here with his tall. He was a great pitcher as we were growing up. But
Right.
then in high school moved over to football, and then Troy Stewart.
Okay.
Kicking and this book, Coach Jay shared that Frank D. Lawrence is where Norcom, had home games,
Right.
and Troy ended up kicking. I think it was an extra point, and Coach Jay heard a thud, and I think with Frank D. Lawrence being an older stadium, they had AC units like on top of the locker room, and Troy hit it on top of the AC units.
Wow.
So,
Yes. And I think Marco graduated the following
yeah,
year,
yeah,
Hernandez.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
just to kind of go back and make the corrections. We do such a good job, and you do, putting out a good platform and accuracy and all things considered. But yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, this is Coach Thomas said it's a lot of 93 grads that are coming back home,
Okay.
and I'm just thankful that we have something for them to cheer about and cheer for. And our record, again, isn't an indication of, the effort that our coaching staff or the lack of talent that our kids have. Our kids are phenomenally talented and athletic. So it's just a matter of a good schedule early so we could continue to persevere throughout this season and be prepared for postseason play.
Yeah, and another mutual friend from the class of '93. He was in the marching band. He other than
Yes,
Coach Jay, D. Ron Vincent
yes,
was one that texted me saying, "Rags, you need to be at the auditorium
yes.
there in February here as my boy is being named head coach." So
That's awesome. Yes, yes, yes. So, and look at the connection, right?
right,
That brought it all full circle, right? So awesome. Yeah, but it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for our kids. Again, we're not looking past this game, right? It's one quarter at a time, right? All the little things, but at the same time, it's just excited to have, a rivalry, for your homecoming, some bragging rights, and maybe memories
right,
during that time frame as well. I believe it's a couple of Hornets that were Bruins.
right.
Probably graduated a little bit before '93, but it's kind of neat just seeing some of the people that may come out, some of the people we may see during the parade, and then possibly post game.
Yeah, and is there still time? I mean, I know with block scheduling and block scheduling was just starting as I was a senior, but with it being homecoming week, is there time for a pep rally there
Yes, it
Friday?
is. It is. The last pep rally I was a part of in 1997
Yeah.
was outside at this stadium.
Okay.
This year, they're having a pep rally 25 years later, to my
Yeah.
understanding, outside at the stadium. So it's gonna give our kids some game day feel and vibes. It's a good lineup that Dr. Avery has put together for this particular pep rally. As I kind of scan through the itinerary, so it's gonna be fun on Friday. I don't want to say this publicly, but it's gonna be kind of hard to really lock in on Friday with all the excitement. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to go in detail, but we just got to make it to 353. How about
Yeah,
that?
right. Yeah, that's but I how's let's see. So JV will go out to Hardy Stadium
Tomorrow.
there tomorrow.
Yes.
And one thing over the years, I mean, it was like, Mr. Brander and Mr. Hardy over at Deep Creek. I mean, and then even Benny Polk, the athletic director, Mark Didewick here at Western Branch. I mean, both schools there in the '90s had long time principals, long time athletic directors. But it's one of those things that friends off the field, but then when you tee it up and you kick it off, it's time.
You're cheering for the team. Yes,
Right.
absolutely. You're cheering for your team. Yes, I ran into Mr. Pope, I think 2 weeks ago. We had a good conversation. Always been a great guy. My wife used to teach over there, so he definitely was a good mentor and got her through the process. And so just it's excitement. It's excitement. And it's awesome to see people like Pope still around. Want to see these young men and young ladies in their respectful sports, be successful. So we're excited about it. Our principal is excited, Mr. Hicks, personally. And, I'm anxious to see how well we bounce back, after a tough loss a week ago. So I'm excited personally as well to see our kids get back out there and play with enthusiasm, the word we've been using a couple of weeks, and high energy.
Right. And I think one of the APs over at Deep Creek, Jason Walker, and he used to be on the staff of Western Branch football. And,
Yes.
I wonder with him being an AP at Deep Creek, if he's gonna show up here on Friday night.
Gotcha. We'll see. We will see.
But hey, Rashad, I definitely appreciate your time, and I know
Yes.
with homecoming events and practice, and then getting out to volleyball, you got a full plate. But
Yes.
certainly appreciate your time here to keep this show going week after week.
I love it. I appreciate it. And again, Rags, it could get old. It could sound cliche. I don't think we are who we are without this platform. And you taking time out of your career, your time out of your day to be able to allow us to share this story. And I think I said this 2 years ago. Got to be patient. We still work with 14-year-old young men. We're working with a senior class that we only have three that have played 4 straight years for us. The other seniors kind of staggered in respectfully due to COVID. So this 18-plus senior class are getting better each week at all things considered, being a leader, being a practice player, being a great teammate, and obviously ultimately being good at their sport. Being good at their position group, being good at their position, and being good as a complete team. And that's what you want. You want to see gel. You want to see upside. And that's what we have. This is a phenomenal football program. It is a great football team that we have. We just got to continue to get better each week.
Yeah, and yesterday with middle school baseball being a first year sport, I had Western Branch Middle School, coach call me after practice. That's a Bruin football alum, Carlton Bickgood,
Yes.
and then to go back to '93. I mean, the guy that had this idea, Mike Sharp, here with giving me the idea here in 2021 to have this platform, and I ended up interviewing him here
Yes.
with it being homecoming week. So just
Absolutely.
Bruins all around.
Absolutely. I'm going to check that episode out tonight, too. Let's believe.
Right.
But yeah, I appreciate your time. I got to get out there and earn my keep. But, we said it before. Sometimes you hire good people and get out the way. So I'm thankful for the coaching staff that I have. They're phenomenal. I wouldn't trade them for anybody. And that was the word that we want our kids to hear today. If we trust you, why not trust us? You know what I mean? So we're excited about this week and our competition that we have. Deep Creek, as you mentioned, had 2 wins. Very seasoned team. Coach Twine does a great job, getting those guys prepared. So we just need to execute this week. We need to execute the operation in all 3 phases of OD and K, offense, defense, and, special teams. And the rest, we'll see how it looks. But, yeah, we're excited about Friday night, Mark. I appreciate your time.
Sure, no problem. And finally, I think we're gonna have a Friday night. Great, great weather. I know that the kids have had great weather for practice here this week. So I'll let you go and go Bruins. And thanks again, man.
Absolutely. Go Bruins.
All right. See you Friday night.